When the producers of this film called me and they explained the thesis of it, I was totally on board. Not just because I'm concerned about my own retirement, but because I've gotten to the summit of Everest and almost was killed on the way back down.
Well, I've thought a lot about that, and I think outside of the rapture or death, every living American or on the planet is going to go through retirement. We're going to summit one day, and everybody is going to go through. And if you don't have an advisor that goes down the mountain with you to protect you, you're kind of lost.
I guided Everest 3 different times, and when you go to the summit of Everest on the North Ridge where I worked, you had to step over or around 8 dead bodies, and each of those people died on the descent.
So I, long before I was able to star in Retirement Everest with Chris and Brent and Ethan, I heard that story. I heard those statistics. So I went to not AI or not Google, I went to Wikipedia, and I found out for myself, is that statistic real? And I found out it was real. So I began to use that statistic in my business. And I had to stop selling death insurance, known as life insurance, and had to start selling longevity insurance, which is the fixed indexed annuity. That's the only product that will get you down the mountain safely. Otherwise, you're going to die coming down the mountain of retirement. I see people are not ready for retirement probably every week that I do in the movie. It's unfortunate, just last week I had someone come up and told me, my broker says I'm okay, I've got $1 million. But are they really okay? Have they examined the 7 dangers of retirement? Have they examined what I put together is called the retirement hits, HITS, health, inflation, taxes, and the secrets of return? So you may have $1 million, but if you experience 2 or 3 of those in the same year, then it's going to take a toll on your retirement. Right. Something's got to give somewhere.
A lot of climbers show up so focused on the goal of reaching the summit, and they've told all their friends and acquaintances that they're going off to climb Everest. And then they get there and the reality hits. Storms come in. They might have the flu. It could be anything that's working against them. And they have to make some decisions. How hard and how fast do I push to get to the summit? And a lot of people make bad decisions in that situation, where they push themselves beyond their body's ability, right? Beyond what's practical with the weather forecast, et cetera. And as a result of that, they push themselves right over the edge, right to death.
Well, I think it happens a lot of times when folks are in the accumulation phase. They are accumulating with their own dollar. A lot of times when the market has its correction and folks say, well, I came back, they came back only because they kept putting money in. So they're in that mindset, if I keep feeding that cow, they don't realize that one day they got to start taking the milk out of that cow. And so if that starts happening, that mindset is, I'm now got to go through the decumulation phase. And if you don't have a specialist that is wanting to get you down the mountain rather than get you up the mountain, and I think most people are trained to try to get up the mountain, but we're going to get to retirement, every one of us. So we need that special mindset of, how am I going to get down this mountain safely and live to tell it?
I've been climbing in the Himalayas now for 5 decades, and I have witnessed the growth of commercial climbing. And sadly, the market, the client, makes their decision on who they're going to climb with based on how many people they got to the summit the year before. And as a result of that, companies will do anything in their power to get people to the top. If I got a 100% success rate or 90% success rate, I'm just going to have more clients next year than the guy who only got 40 or 50% of the people to the top. The craziest part is nobody understands or tracks the fatality rate of these companies. So I can get 100% to the summit and advertise that to no end, but I'm never going to tell you about the 20% that didn't make it back down.
So I think I got to piggyback on what Chris just said. My mission goal, my tagline is, my job's not to make you wealthy. It is to prevent you from ever becoming poor. So if I can set you in place a system that guarantees you got a paycheck every month, every month. Then from the time you do retire to the time you check out of here, we're going to get you down that mountain safely.
When we teach people about the risks of climbing a big peak like Everest, we talk about objective dangers and subjective dangers. So objective dangers are things that we really don't have much control over, like the weather, avalanches, rockfall. And then there's subjective dangers, things that we do have control over. Did we judge our strength very well? Did we manage our resources very well? Did we manage the time that we're spending in the death zone very well? When you look at the 19 ways that people have died on Everest, the top 4 reasons are all because of subjective dangers. People go to the mountains and kill themselves there. The mountains don't kill them. One of the things about being with an experienced guide or having a lot of experience yourself is that you've seen these dangers before, and now you know, right, how to to make the proper judgment to get yourself back down alive. Yeah, that's really what it's all about, right? Like, how do I gain the expertise? Sadly, bad experiences teach good judgment. And I would much rather learn from your bad experiences than repeat it myself.
So I think based on what Chris was talking about there is that subconscious, the things that we cannot control, we can't control what the government does, but I see it over and over and over. A person hits that retirement day and they go pull out of their 401k to buy a new car, their last car for retirement, pay off their house, and they pay triple for that. I asked the lady one day, I said, why are you paying, triple for that? And she didn't realize that she was going to have to pay taxes on that money. And then another thing, the subconscious thing is like, for example, people are getting taxed on money they don't spend sitting in a CD. Why are you getting taxed on money that you don't spend, So these subconscious, these things that have never been told, you shouldn't do this, this, or this, because in the retirement red zone or the Mount Everest death zone, making those mistakes will kill you. I think the thing that I want folks to do when they look at the movie is realize that human error can cost you your retirement years. But there is an opportunity to make a change with an expert in the decumulation phase of your life. And by seeing the movie, relating it to Mount Everest climbing and the descent, they're now in an environment that they can change those things if they only just reach out and say, help me.